A pregnant woman usually knows what she wants when it comes down to delivery. But for women of color, our needs and wants aren't always heard in the hospital.
So being heard is a life-saving conversation that every Black person needs to have with a provider. And if they're not getting it from this provider, they need to get it somewhere else.
Demetria Sariki is a licensed midwife with her own center called A Mother's Choice Midwifery out of Colorado Springs. She's helped families during the birthing process, both at their own homes and in the hospital.
We have the same schedule as OBs, so every 4 weeks, 2 weeks, and then weekly. But at 36 weeks, we do a home visit.
Sariki believes women of color especially have had a hard time during the birthing process because of a lack of resources and education.
And it starts, if we can, to teach them before they're pregnant. They have a responsibility to themselves of educating themselves on the providers whom which they may choose to be their providers.
The history of Black midwifery in the U.S. takes us all the way to West Africa. In many African communities, midwives not only helped give birth, but also served as family counselors, breastfeeding consultants, and so much more. Back at home, Denver, Colorado was home to the first licensed Black female doctor, Justina Ford.
For me, Dr. Ford was, she's a legacy. She created generational knowledge. To see the children that she caught last year when they unveiled her mural was just like so moving.
She migrated to Colorado in the late 1800s after obtaining a degree in Chicago and being denied a license there.
The oppression that she received as a Black woman and being a provider, she really broke down barriers.
Ford was best known for her obstetrics and pediatric work in Denver's Five Points community.
She wasn't just a physician, right? She was a community health provider. She provided care for an entire community.
Dr. Justina Ford is one of thousands of women who's been suppressed because of the color of their skin. It's a feeling many Black women feel while giving birth in the hospital.
I was not expecting the pushback that I got from the staff, especially from the nurses.
Shelby Irvin is a mother, wife, and Colorado native who has had several roles that include a doula, certified lactation counselor, childbirth educator, all that she offers from her business in Colorado, The Soulful Mama. She decided to become a doula because of her own pregnancy and birthing experience when hospital staff wouldn't let her make her own decisions.
My husband and I go in, strong together, and the induction process starts, and automatically it's like, you need to sign this paperwork to get your epidural. And I was like, I'm birthing naturally, and they're like, you're not ready for what happens with an induction.
This traumatic experience carried on even after she had her baby and was struggling with breastfeeding.
And we're just trying this, and I'll never forget the lactation support looked at me and she said, people like you are lazy. She literally told me Black people are lazy and they do not want to breastfeed their babies.
Her experience led her to become a doula. A doula is a woman who is employed to provide guidance and support to a pregnant woman during labor. Shelby says she strives to create a safe place for mamas of color to be who they are without having to explain their mere essence.
Ideally, it is best to reach your doula, when you have realized that you've conceived and you want extra support. So we go through a consultation, and there is an interview process to see if we're a good fit for one another. And from there, support automatically starts.
Shelby is now one of only 2 Black lactation counselors in El Paso County. She hopes more women of color will join the field because representation is key.
When we have representation, we change the biases around us. So when we see Black people showing up, when we see Black mothers and Black fathers and Black birthing people in general being a part of the whole entire process, having that community, it changes what our outcomes can be.
Sometimes Demetria and Shelby work closely together. They say it takes a village effort to ensure families are taken care of.
It is literally a tag team.
And they work together to provide the best experiences for families from beginning to end.
It doesn't matter where you have your baby, whether you have it at a birth center, a home birth, or a hospital. Because we're not married to the place of service, right? We're married to the experience and the care that these pregnant people receive.